Successful people are boring as crap. It needs to be said because we think success is great, but maybe it's not. We think successful people are awesome, but maybe we need to think again. Maybe they are boring as crap. This idea occurred to me the other day when I was reading Chesterton. You know G.K. Chesterton, that flamboyant, enormous writer and artist from the turn of the 20th century who, when he wasn't writing his own novels, was a literary critic, analyzing the likes of Charles Dickens. Chesterton noticed that Dickens' greatest characters were the ones we would not consider to be, quote-unquote, successful. They were always part of the lower classes. They were always poor, while the wealthy characters, on the other hand, were always stale and boring. Think of the miserable but outwardly successful Ebenezer Scrooge versus his poor but flamboyant and jocular nephew. Or the larger-than-life Wilkins Micawber, a humble clerk who is, more often than not, to be found in a debtor's prison. We remember characters like this, but you probably can't even name one of the wealthy or successful characters of Dickens. That's because they're so forgettable. This isn't just working-class hero BS. Chesterton argued that Dickens wrote this way because this is the way things really are. Successful people are boring, while the truly interesting people are found among the poor. Success and status require us to conform to the fixed standards of society, subduing us, domesticating us, and making us dull, boring people. Think about how typical jobs work. In order to rise in the ranks of business, you have to walk and talk like everyone else, dress like everyone else. You have to shrink your personality down to fit a standard of conduct. You have to be professional and vanilla, convivial and restrained, cardboard and predictable. Chesterton concludes, "The truth is that our public life consists almost exclusively of small men. Our public men are small because they have to prove that they are, in the commonplace interpretation, clever, because they have to pass examinations, to learn codes of manners, to imitate a fixed type. Being successful in any field means you must imitate a fixed type. You must give up your uniqueness as much as possible, because success, by definition, means limiting yourself to submit to the rules, the regulations, and the criteria of a dominance hierarchy in order to come out on top of that hierarchy. The athlete who gets the gold medal is not the one who runs however he wants, but the one who gives up his uniqueness in order to run the way the competition demands. Usain Bolt is a less unique runner than a toddler chasing butterflies, and also less interesting because he is completely predictable. We know exactly where he is going, where he will end, and we know that he will probably win, and he is more successful than the toddler precisely because of these things, precisely because he is a more one-dimensional runner. To succeed, we must conform." Maya Angelou once said, "Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it." And Maya Angelou was wrong. That may be a good way to live, Maya, but it's not how society defines success. If I like myself, and I like sleeping all day, and I like the way I sleep all day, I am not a successful person. Let's be honest. I'm probably a hungry and cold person because I lost my job and got evicted as a result of too much successful sleeping. On a more serious level, let's say I write a 100,000-word novel, and I like it, and I like the way I did it, yet no one wants to publish it or read it. I am still not a successful person. Despite my massive dedication and effort, and pouring years into writing this novel, even though a lot of people would consider that commendable, I'm still not considered a successful person. Not until my novel is published. Not until people bury me in mountains of money and buy my book in droves. I'm not successful until I'm rewarded, even if I write a great book. There's a reason why we say that geniuses like Van Gogh were not a success in their lifetime. No one bought Van Gogh's paintings. He was still a genius, and still unsuccessful. That's because he made paintings that, despite their craft and their genius, no one wanted. To be successful and to be rewarded and to be recognized, you have to do what other people want. You have to conform. You have to live on their conditions, clock in on their schedule, produce content that they like. The more you do what other people want and become what other people want, the more you are rewarded. And this is why the most successful of all people are the least unique. The most popular people are also the most subdued, blandly vanilla cardboard cutouts you can imagine. Think of democratically elected politicians. They are technically the most popular people on the planet, And because they have to appeal to the most people as possible, they have to subdue their uniqueness as much as possible. They dress the same, they talk the same, and they act the same. By and large, they are barely even human. And it's not just them. Business executives are as colorless as the neutral color schemes they wear. Celebrities walk as if on thin ice, never to say anything offensive. Athletes say the same things in every interview. Or again, think of your average business employee. There's a reason most jobs will potentially be replaced by automation in the future. Most employees are little more than automata. And honestly, this is all fine and dandy. There's nothing wrong with conforming to society's norms. It's often quite good, in fact. Get a job. Make yourself useful. If you want to be successful, go for it. If you want the accolades of society, knock yourself out. But let's have no illusions about ourselves. If we are fortunate enough to be successful, to have a good job and good salaries, odds are we are boring as crap. Let's not plume ourselves, or hold our heads too high, or think that we're finer specimens than we really are. Success, as such, is never wrong, but pride, like strutting, is always absurd. And you do well to think twice before you put successful people on too high a pedestal. Pause a moment before you praise them too much. There are better gods to worship than these hollow idols of wood and clay. Better models to follow, if models are what you seek.